Our next speaker was first profiled on the show way back in 2004, more recently in the early part of 2011. His goalposts have shifted, but his passion remains steadfast.
You need to have an understanding of what the business is, where the markets are, where do you see trends, where do you see opportunities, what do you think is going to change. The biggest is not always the best.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Malvinder Mohan Singh, the Chairman and Managing Director of Fortis Healthcare.
Congratulations for 10 years for Young Turks. It also happens to be, as a matter of coincidence, 10 years for Fortis Healthcare and Religare Enterprises this year.
Well, congratulations then from all of us here, Malav.
And I think clearly these two businesses are businesses that have evolved and got created because of dreams that my brother and I had. And what I can share with you truly, which is also the subject matter today, is the power of dreams. I think dreaming is like floating and flying in the sky like a bird, just letting yourself loose, letting yourself go on without having any barriers. And I'll talk today a little bit about Fortis and of Religare. There was a deeper purpose which led to the creation of these two businesses. And they were quite different in their respective aspects. For Fortis, the purpose was about bringing world-class healthcare to India. On the financial services side, the story was different. India had gone through a decade of liberalization, and as India became a stronger and a more vibrant part of the global economy, we clearly saw opportunity for an Indian financial service house at a global level. But I think as we've done these two things, one thing that has consistently driven me are really two key components. One is to make sure that in whichever business, in whichever industry you are, you have the ability to be at the forefront of that business, and more importantly, being at the forefront at a global level. Another important aspect was, as we've evolved and as we've built our business, it is to have the ability to step aside, have the ability to train, and have a strong management team that's actually running your business. I think if you're able to address some of these things, I'm quite certain that you'll be able to achieve many of the dreams that you have. And with that, I wish all of you the very best, and do one thing, always dream. Thank you.
Meanwhile, it's time now to invite our next speaker for this evening. If fortune favors the bold, then this speaker is clearly fortune's favorite child. From alternate medicine to the world of auto, he's got his fingers in pretty much every field at this point in time. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker this evening.
Times change and things change. I try to do my own thing. I've never benchmarked with anyone.
Join me in welcoming on stage the Managing Director, Bajaj Auto, Rajiv Bajaj.
Hello everyone. In the presence of Mr. Murthy, I would like to start by making a confession. I'm completely IT illiterate. And not just relative to him in an absolute sense. But yet, I will take credit for having dreamt up B2B as an acronym. But it has nothing to do with the world of IT. What happened was, this was a dream I had in 1998. I said to Joe, my head of R&D at that time, everybody's making bikes, little bikes, boring bikes, to take you from point A to point B. What happens after point B? You have to go further somewhere. So typically, an enthusiastic motorcyclist would like to go from point B to where the babes are. So from B to B was the code name of Pulsar, the project we had started in 98, as from point B to where the babes are. No, I must tell you, it got me into trouble because my father heard of this and he asked me once, "Ye project B2B kya hai?" So I told him, "Ye project B2B ka matlab hai back to basics." So I want to share with you some of the basics that I have had to kind of unlearn and relearn in the last 10 years since I was interviewed as a young Turk and the present moment. For example, when I graduated from the UK studying a master's in engineering, I was taught just in time and Kaizen and all these kind of fancy Japanese manufacturing techniques, and I thought that was it. But I had barely started applying it, and the world seemed to move to world-class manufacturing. And before I could even grasp the meaning of world-class manufacturing, people were talking about CAD and CAM and CAE and automation and robotics, simultaneous engineering and concurrent engineering. So I had to start again from the very beginning. How is one supposed to move ahead when the world changes all the time like this? This word change horrifies me because every night I used to go to bed thinking something will change tomorrow and there is going to be a big problem. But luckily in Mr. Darwin I found an answer, a reassurance that nothing will change, life will go on, it will only evolve slowly. So one doesn't have to be so paranoid about change. One can be quite confident that change will evolve and one can take it in one stride. The second word that used to frighten the daylights out of me was the word innovation. Because every day in this country there is a seminar on innovation. But it is very difficult to understand how to apply this innovation. So I decided we are not going to innovate to cope with change. We will just adapt. And that's exactly what happened over the last 20 years that I've been at Bajaj. Fundamentally, the market evolved. We adapted our skills and our cost structure by moving from making a Chetak to making a Pulsar. When I joined Bajaj in 1990, we were on the top of the heap. We were India's #1 two-wheeler maker. Halfway through my career so far, in the year 2000, the Bajaj two-wheeler portfolio lost money. A business that had 50% market share was actually losing money. The reason was simple. We tried to be everything to everyone. Today, 10 years later, we are still not #1. We are the second largest motorcycle maker in this country. We are the third largest motorcycle maker in the world. But we are the world's most profitable motorcycle maker. And finally, brands must be nurtured. Brands are sacred, they must be respected. And which is why I wear this KTM t-shirt, so that if you want to know who in this room makes a motorcycle, it should be obvious. I shouldn't have to tell you that. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thanks very much, Rajiv. My colleague Tanmay is in the audience. Tanmay, over to you. A lot of dreamers that you can spot.
I have with me Mr. Rohan Verma. Hello, Rohan. How are you doing? He invented a really cool gadget. It's a GPS system called Map My India. I just want to ask you one thing. Your GPS system is great. I love the app. I have it on my iPhone. I just have one problem with it. It's a woman's voice giving me directions. How am I supposed to take that seriously?
With the GPS, they say that even if you're driving at 140 kilometers per hour, she's never going to scream at you, and she's going to give you accurate directions.
Rohan, I'm just going to ask you to complete a sentence. Right? A really hot smoking girl enters your office for an interview, right? And she gives you her CV. It's not very impressive, but she's wearing a short skirt, very impressive. You need to hire her for a job. What do you do?
Well, depends for which position.
A quick question to the dignitaries on stage as well. I'd like to ask you a question, Mr. Bajaj. If your wife accidentally buys you a Honda on your birthday, how would you deal with it? A, hope and pray that none of your employees see the bike. B, try and convince your wife that it's a bad idea and be prepared to sleep on the couch that night. C, call Honda and ask them if you can buy them over just so it's okay for you to drive the bike to work. Or D, drive till right outside of your work, park the scooter, get into a Bajaj and then drive to work again. Which one would you do, sir?
None of the above. I'll tell her a Honda is only to go from point A to point B, so don't fill it, just shut it and forget it.
Mr. Bajaj and Mr. Singh, quick question to you guys. Like I said, corporate people use a lot of fancy terms, right? What is thinking out of the box? What does this mean? I keep hearing this all the time. What do you think it means?
I think it means he has met my father in the box.
Mr. Singh, a company has set new deadlines for this quarter and your boss keeps telling you that he trusts you to give 110%. What does he mean by 110%?
I thought I was the boss.
Do you use this phrase 110%?
No, I just say 200.
Fair enough. Mr. Bajaj and Mr. Singh, ladies and gentlemen, come on.
I think India has two very, very important strengths. The first is the fact that we have a demographic dividend. 70% of India is below the age of 35. The second is that we have entrepreneurism as part of our DNA.